Hi, I'm Sharon Bill. Welcome to my theory tuition series where I'm working with you step by step through the ABRSM theory grades. There are lots of resources available to help you on my website. If you visit sharonbill.com, you'll find some free PDF information sheets. You can download these in US letter or A4 and they accompany each step of this series. You'll find a page there with links to all of my YouTube video tutorials, and also you can find out about the books that I have available. I've written an exam technique guide, how to take your ABRSM Music Theory Exam. It's full of tips and hints on how to best be prepared for your exam and also how to make the best use of your time on exam day. So if you go to sharonbill.com, you'll find it's all there. If you can give me a like, that would be really super, and please do subscribe to my channel and share out the videos. And now we're going to crack on with the last questions of the 2019 Grade 5 Paper C. So if you turn with me now to page 23, we'll have a look at question 6. So in this next question, we're asked to look at this little extract of music and then answer the following questions. So have a go at this on your own. First of all, it doesn't matter if you go wrong. It's always better to learn by your mistakes. You can always just erase them and have another go. You'll learn much more thoroughly that way than just by passively copying through. And so I'm hoping that you've done that, and now we'll check through these answers together. So our first job is to draw a bracket over 4 notes next door to each other that make a chromatic scale. So the clue that we're looking for when we're looking to make a chromatic scale is we're looking for lots of accidentals to tell us things are changing by semitones. It's always helpful to have a sketch of a piano keyboard. It doesn't need to be a marvellous artistic wonder, but just showing you, even if it's not the instrument of your choice, it's a good visual reference. So round about here looks like a good spot because we've got some nice sharps occurring. There's not enough going on here, I don't think, so I'm just going to go for this bit straight away. So we can see we have a G sharp, then we have an A, then we have an A sharp, and there we have a B. So I think that will do the job. That's 4 notes. So G sharp, 1, 2, 3, 4 to the B, answers that nicely, so I'll just bracket that. There we go. And now a little bit of maths work. We need to say how many demi-semiquavers, how many 32nd notes are the tied notes in bar 1 worth. Now then, maths is not my strong point, and so I diagram this out. I think it's a better way to visualise it. If you're a maths whiz, you can by all means just work out the maths in your head. But I think it's better to just diagram it out, just to avoid making mistakes. It's always better to just show your workings out so that you're thorough. So we know that 1 crotchet, 1 quarter note, divides into 2 quavers. We've got a crotchet here, tied, so we'll deal with the tie afterwards. So 2 quavers break down into 4 semiquavers, 4 16th notes. And then if we break those down again, that gives us 8 demi-semiquavers, 32nd notes. So we have 8 notes in a crotchet, a quarter note, and then it's tied to a quaver, which is half that value. So 8 plus 4, half of that value, there, gives us 12. So there's our answer. Righty-ho, next bit. So we need to rewrite bar 1 using notes and rests of twice the value. So we need to change this time signature to reflect that. At the moment, we are in 4/4 common time. Now we can't change the musical kind of value. We can't change the musicality of it. We're just changing the math, so it should sound exactly the same. So we need to stay in 4 beats in a bar. But at the moment we're counting in quarter notes, crotchet beats, so to double that, twice the value, means we'll be counting in minim or half notes. And so our time signature will still be in quadruple time, but we're now counting in half notes, minim beats. And so bar 1 twice the value, let's just sketch out what's going to happen here then. So this quaver rest, this 8th note rest will become a crotchet rest. We lose the beam, so that becomes a crotchet. That becomes a minim. And then basically we just lose the beam so that they become crotchets. So now we know what to do. Let's just go ahead and do that. So there's our rest now, a quarter note crotchet beat rest. So this low note A, I'll just get the blobs in place actually. So I know not to colour this next one in. And that's tied. And then we're going down a step back to the A. C, E. So then stems, that's now lost its little tail, that's a crotchet, that's a minim, and then these are all going to be crochet beats, so we don't need to beam those anymore. There we go, that's that job done. Let's press on. So we need to say which scale all of the notes of bar 1 can be found in. It's a minor scale, so let's see what notes we've got here. So we have a B flat and a C sharp. What notes have we got? We've got an A, B flat, back to the A, E. So then, although we have a key signature of F sharps, actually there's no F to be sharpened in this bar, so it's not asking us about the key signature, it's just asking us which notes these could belong to, which scale these notes could belong to. And so these are the clues that we've got to work on. So in actual fact, the key signature we are thinking of is this one, because it's not possible to have these in a key signature together, and this can only be explained as a raised 7th. And so if that's the 7th, if C is the 7th, the 8th is D minor, which we know has a key signature of B flats. So we explain it that way, it's D minor. So that F sharp is not figuring at all in that bar, so don't let that influence your decision. It's not part of those notes in this particular question. So now a triplet. The triplet in bar 2, just triplets in general, mean 3 quavers in the time of, so you can answer this in various ways. You could either say 2 quavers, or if you prefer the other terminology, you'd say 2 8th notes. Oh, what went wrong there? There we go. Alternatively, you could sort of reduce that down and you could say 1 crotchet beat or 1 quarter note. It all adds up to the same thing really. So any of those will do. Now let's look at bar 4. We're asked to name the ornament. So here we have this ornament here. So it's 2 notes ornamentally, not just 1. So 1 note, when we get like that, it would be perhaps called an appoggiatura. However, that's not going to be appropriate here because there are 2 in that. And so we refer to those quite simply as grace notes. I absolutely love that term. The term grace notes, it sort of makes it sound that it's gracing the music with this extra little presence of music. And also, you know, you get them given for grace as in free for nothing, not even sort of coming into the time signature. We're just sticking them in extra free. And I think if you can find different ways of sort of memorising things, and the more sort of extravagant you make your sort of mental process, the more thoroughly you will learn it. And so that's how I remember those grace notes. They're just gracing the music with their presence, and you're getting them for free, as it were. That's what works for me anyway. So now, final question in this little section is to give the letter name of the highest note of the extract. So we've just got to be careful what clef we're in, and then make sure we observe any accidentals or key signature. So just straight away we can see here's the highest section and this is the highest note of the lot. Now then, we've got quite a few ledger lines here. If this isn't the instrument or clef of your choice, but there are two ways you can work this out. You can either count from a note that you know. We know this top line is Every Good Boy Deserves Football, F, G, A, B, C, D, E. Alternatively, you can just count down an octave until you're in more familiar territory. So counting the given as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 takes us to here. And we know the spaces spell face, F-A-C-E. So however you get there, it's note E. And now we're going to turn over to the last little question. So if you turn with me to question 7, we can get straight on with that. And I always like this as a little closing question to the exam paper. I just think this is the nice, gentle downhill roll to the end of the exam and a nice, easy 10 marks. If you get your thinking done first, it's a homeward run. So first job is to find out what key we're in. And again, if you've written your circle of fifths, you've got that already sussed, so we know that that's F major. So let's sketch out the chords that we're going to be looking for. We're looking for chords 1, 2, 4 or 5. We're in F major, so chord 1 will be based on F. If you find it hard to imagine these, just count up. So chord 2 is G. 1, 2, 3, 4 is B flat, but don't worry about the flat, your key signature deals with that. And chord 5 is C. So to write, oh, I wrote chord 2 there, that's G, silly me. Okay, so building up our triads, first, third, fifth, F, A, C, G, B, D, B, D, F, and C, E, G. That's all the thinking done. And we don't need to write whether it's root position or inversions because we don't have any baseline, that information isn't to hand. So if there's a choice of what notes fit between two chords, we need to make sure we choose chords appropriate to the cadence point. So just a quick revision on cadence points. 5 to 1 is your perfect cadence. That's a really strong close. It's like a ta-da, finished. 4 to 1 is still a full close, but it's a much more gentle, it's almost like an amen sounding ending, and that's your plagal cadence. That's the name for that. You don't need to know the names, just out of interest. And then anything to 5 is an imperfect cadence, because chord 5 just leaves you hanging. It just doesn't sound finished at all. It just leaves you hanging. Chord 2 is often used as a nice sort of lead-in to cadence points as well. It's like a nice sort of introductory chord to a cadence point. So let's see what we've got here. So we could have just the notes of this chord. If we've got any in-between notes that don't fit, just filling in the spaces in between, they are just passing notes, just passing through, filling in the gap between the harmonies. So let's see what we've got here. We're in treble clef. We have a D, a B and an F. Of course it's a B flat, but your key signature deals with that. So that's a chord 4. No confusion there. We have a C and an E. That could only be chord 5, even though it's only partially represented. That's the only one that will do. Now here we have a B, an A, a G and a D, but that A is not a harmony note. That's just a passing note, just passing through, filling in the gap between the harmonies. So the notes that we're looking for to find the chord are B, G, D, which is chord 2. nice precursor into what's going to be our cadence point. Again, we've got a passing note here. That's not the harmony note, that's just passing through, filling in between. So our harmony notes are C and E. So really only chord 5 will do there. And then here we have just note F. Now we have a choice. F is part of chord 1 and it's also part of chord 4. But 5 to 4 is not a prescribed cadence. That will not answer. It has to be 5 to 1 to give us our perfect cadence, our official sort of prescriptive cadence here. So it has to be chord 1, and that brings us to a perfect cadence at the end of this question, and also a perfect cadence to end the paper. That's that exam paper completed. I do hope that's helpful to you. I hope it's been helpful to your studies. I hope that you've enjoyed it. I've certainly enjoyed working through it with you. If you can give me a like, that would be really super. And please do subscribe to my channel and share out the videos. And please do go to sharonbill.com and make use of all of the information and resource that's available to help you there. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.